All right, guys. So what I wanted to do today was we wanted to make our pictures look more like the example. And so this was the example one that I showed you guys. It's nice and clean. The water looks good. It's in focus. There's not water flowing down here. And the subject is framed nice and tight here. And so what I want to do is take one of my students' photos, and you want to take one of your photos and make it look more like this image, okay? And so in Google Photos, where we've stored our photos, this student, I liked this one. It had good water. When I zoom in, um, the water looks like it's in focus, okay? And it's going all the way from hand to hand. And so in Google Photos, the way to get this into Photoshop is I can download the image. It'll pop up down here. I can go here. Now, if I say open, it's not going to open it in Photoshop. It's going to open it in another program. So I want to either say show in folder, and here it is highlighted, and I can right click and I can say open with Adobe Photoshop CS6. There it is. Okay, and you can kind of see the difference between those two, right? When I look at the difference between these two images, I can see this one's close up. It's got a lot of good detail. This one, the subject is further away. For this one, what I'd suggest doing, if some of yours look like this, is we want to crop the image. And so over here in Photoshop is our crop tool. I want to click on my crop tool. Up here in the top, it'll say either unconstrained, or I can make it a certain size. Pretty standard size is 8 by 10. And so I could say 8 by 10, or I could say unconstrained. Right now, this person shot this with using the rule of thirds maybe, but I kind of like the look of the examples we saw where everything was close up, subject was kind of centered. I want to give a little bit of space above the hands and the head here, and I want to give a little space down here. I could maybe go like that, and I'm just trying to eyeball, is the water in the center? Does it look pretty equally balanced on the right and the left? And I don't want all this distraction going on with the back of the hill back here. So that looks pretty good. And so up here I can hit the check box, and now my image is cropped, and then I can hit Control plus, or I can use the magnifying glass to zoom in now and take a look at that image. Okay, that's more of what I'm trying to look for. That's the general idea. Let's take a look at both of them beside each other here. That's a little better. The subject and the water's closer up now. But now, what I want to try and do is clean up some of this image. This one popped right open, this image, when I opened it in Photoshop because it was saved as a JPEG. I just wanted to show you guys that I downloaded another image, and this image, the person shot the image in RAW. And so if it says CR2 at the end of your image, that means it's a RAW file. And so I'm going to show you guys an example of what happens when I open a RAW file. So I'm going to say show in folder, and here it is highlighted. Right click on it, say open with Photoshop, and now this brings up a different kind of menu, and what it's doing is it's opening it up into a different thing before it opens it up into Photoshop. When I look at this image, it's pretty close to like what I was looking at too, but there might have been some things I can do. And so in here I can even crop the image before I bring it into Photoshop, and I can make some adjustments over here before bringing it into Photoshop, or I can just click open image. That one looks pretty close as well. It's got good water. If I zoom in, it looks pretty good. I'm just going to use this one for the sake of it. And so notice that these are pretty close, but see these stray waters that are flinging off, water drops. I kind of want to get rid of those. And so what I can do is over here on the left, there's a spot heal brush, and there's a size. Yours will probably be a little smaller, like this size, to get rid of some of these dots. I kind of like to go ahead and bump up the size of mine. And what we can do is start clicking. If I click on this, then it should go away. Okay, and so right in here is where I want to get rid of these things. And what I can do to help that is when you're working in Photoshop, it helps to zoom into an area. And so I really want to see where my main problem areas are. And so I want to kind of get rid of all this down here. And so I zoom in, I've got these water splashes. I want to use a spot heal, and I want to just click along here and get rid of these. Trying to just make it look like one thing of water, pretty clean. You can have some places where it goes away. I'm just trying to clean up these spots. You know, these drops right here are okay. And then in here, looks like I've cleared out most of the area around here. And then I want to kind of come in here and clear out some of this around. And I'm kind of just looking for the ones that don't look like water. They kind of just look like they shouldn't be in there, you know. And if you needed to, you could increase the size of your brush to do this, but I wouldn't go too big. Kind of just keep it the same size as the bubbles. And there you can see right there, it didn't quite take care of the bubble because it was the wrong size. But as I keep going, I'm not clicking and dragging, I'm just clicking, and you can see right there it's not really doing it. So I might have to come back to that area. Okay, and let's zoom out. So I'm going to hit Control minus, and you can kind of already see it's starting to look a lot cleaner. Okay, and I don't want to make you guys sit through me just doing this, but there's some areas up here that I should get that are distracting. They're kind of by her face, and so I'm just using the spot heal, this one by her thumb. Wrong one, wrong brush. Let me deselect. Okay, and so let's take care of these areas. All right, and so these ones by her eyes, I would necessarily mess with too much. I don't want to mess around her eye too much, but we could try it and see how it looks. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, see that one, that was probably the reflection off her pupil, and so I can just hit Control Z, bring that back. That one looks a little, making her skin tone look a little weird. All right, and I'm just pressing the space bar, kind of zooming around, looking to see if I can clean anything else up. So I would want to come in here and clean most of this up. You can see right there, it didn't do a great job of healing it. I can hit Control Z, but I think it's okay right now. All right, so I would want to do all this, but I don't want to show you guys all of that. But you can start to see it's starting to look a lot cleaner. And so now I want to show you guys what else you guys might want to try as far as you know, making this image look like this one. And so another thing they probably did is they probably messed with their levels. Okay, and so over here are my levels, and it has this kind of mountain looking thing. And what we want to do is grab this black arrow and drag it and kind of bring it over to the beginning of this mountain. And that should help. And then if I grab my white cursor and I kind of bring it over, that's going to help too. Okay, as far as my levels are concerned. And that's kind of darkening it up. And yeah, those are some things that can help you. You could also mess around with your brightness and contrast a little bit to, you know, just try dragging the brightness over, dragging the contrast down, dragging the contrast up, seeing what that does, bringing the brightness down. That's looking a little bit too dull. I don't like that. Let's see. Kind of like that. And so that's looking pretty close to what I'm looking for. And so those are just some ideas of what you might want to try and do in your own image. Then save that image and upload it. All right, thank you.